Hey everybody, I hope everyone's having a nice Wednesday. I wanted to come on today because I had the day off and continue painting this really fun and very colorful summer design. So if you've been following this series, we finished this up the last time I was on, and I just wanted to share that. I absolutely love this. And then we started working on the banner. So we have 4 pieces to this banner. I did make a couple changes off camera. I just went ahead and painted this pink, variations, different colors of pink, and then went and shaded it. Something else I did too was I didn't like the dark shading on this particular surfboard, so I just highlighted with white, but when you stick that on top, that's what we have. The snorkel here, what I did is I went ahead and I took a rake brush with some white paint, very, very little white paint, and just kind of went down so it looks like stripes. So just to give it that glare. So we're going to continue on painting this, and then we're going to work on painting the gnome. So, and my bird is talking up a storm. Holy smokes. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day. We're supposed to get some pretty cruddy weather, I guess. So, I don't know. What I thought about painting this, I think a good color, I think I used Bahama Blue, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought about putting peaches and cream with it. And then making the little, I don't know what you want to call it, the mouthpiece. And then just this little piece here, a darker color. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this with peaches and cream. And hopefully I can get a lot of stuff done today. Time will tell. Now this peaches and cream, I've been using Coral Shell, and it's just a little bit darker, not much. Just a little bit. So, and it's a different variation of a peach. So, but I thought that would be a good combination. And my bird is on a roll this morning. Boy, oh boy. Talking, talking, talking. I have my little helper with me today. I'm just trying to go for bright, colorful colors. Which is not something I normally do, but I just thought, let's make this fun. I don't know, I might go back over this. That's actually drawing a lot darker than what I anticipated. So, I'll get this base coat on all the way around, and then I think I am going to switch. I have been busy designing. I've got some great 4th of July designs coming up. And after I finish this, that'll be one of the things I paint. And it's going to be pretty cute. Have a 4th of July design for my bench, for my window. Working on a summer type of design for my interchangeable sign. And have some really great ideas for some Halloween designs. I personally love designing Halloween and Christmas designs. That's what I really like creating. It's like what I like painting as well. And I'm really starting to like Easter as well. I know the flip-flops I'm gonna paint. Good morning. Purples and pinks, because I need to get some more purple involved. And I like a pink, so. But yeah, I'm gonna switch to the other color because this is just a little bit too dark. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Way to go. Something I didn't know and happened to learn it the day of the Super Bowl is that the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles is actually a Mount Union graduate. And Mount Union is a little college not too far from where I live. And they have an excellent football program. And he was a pretty good, I guess, wide receiver back in the day. He's actually from New York, but he went to Mount Union. Pretty impressive. I didn't watch the game. I just looked up the results the next day. It just didn't interest me. And it's kind of hard to tell, but this is definitely lighter and it has a different hue. Had a huge coon on my porch today, this morning, eating the cat food. So I guess they have come out from wherever they are. And this thing was not afraid. It wasn't going to move off my porch for nothing. I always know when we have a critter on the porch that's not supposed to be there, because I'll tell you what, Kaylee tells on them. When she starts causing a ruckus, you need to get up and look and see what's going on. I mean, this paint goes on light and then it just dries dark. I wish it would go on the color. That it looks like in the bottle. Because that's really the color I wanted. Now they do have, I don't have it out, something called white peach, I think, or sugared peach, which is the highlighting color. I don't know. We'll see. I might be able to get away with doing a little bit of highlighting and lighten it up a little bit. Not for sure. The area is not very big. And then I know I want the mouthpiece, and then just this little other piece. I don't even know what it would be called because I've never snorkeled in my life, nor will I ever. I'm gonna make that the coral blush, just to break it up. You know, just scuba diving and all that stuff. It doesn't interest me. going to put some of this white peach out right here on this and just see what the difference is. Because like I said, this stuff always dries darker. Just out of curiosity. Because it actually looks like it's too light. See, that would be too light. So I'll just highlight with it and hopefully I can get something going here. Just gonna walk the float down a little bit at the top of this. Kind of lighten it up at the bottom a little bit. Around this thicker part. And see how my highlighting's actually fading a little bit. And the reason being is you have this paint watered down when you float. So the key to a good float is mixing water with your paint and then taking it to your paper palette or whatever you use to blend your paint. And I go back and forth a lot to blend my paint. You don't really want to take it from your plate onto your surface without blending. There's people that do that. But if you don't blend it, you're not going to get that gradient. And that's kind of what you want when it comes to floating, is a gradient. Maybe I'll bring my paper palette over here and kind of show you what I mean. I just have pretty limited space. That's kind of lightening it up and giving it a different look. It's not giving any type of dimension. I mean, part of the thing with floating, highlighting, and shading, it does give dimension. That's the main purpose. But not every time when you float and highlight will you get dimension. You just won't. And then I'm just gonna lightly shade where these pieces are gonna be glued on. And I'm just walking the float down a little bit. I don't know how dark I'll make that shading because the piece I'm gonna actually put on here and paint is this color I'm shading with. So I want a little bit of distinction. I don't know if I have the shading color for the coral blush. Let's see what it is. Peaches and Cream and Heritage Brick. I know I have Heritage Brick. Just not exactly for sure where. I probably should have looked at that before coming on. And then the highlighting color is Peaches and Cream. So we'll see about that. That is pretty bright. I'm going to highlight just a little bit more. I just want it a little bit lighter on top. My paint is drying already. Which is going to make it tough for floating. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I might put a little bit more heritage brick on there to make it a little bit darker. And then we'll get the painting these flip-flops and this banner will be done. Something too, I just like to give tips and hints and whatever I can. I'm gonna calm that shading down a little bit. The key to a good float as well is your brush. I might have to go back and shade it, but I just wanted to calm down because something I noticed, because I'm using that same color for those pieces, it kind of just blends in together, so I just wanted to calm it down a little bit. But the key to good floating too is your brush. You have to have a really good brush. I use angle, I use flat, but see how that's really a chiseled edge? It's really in good shape. Where, let me see if I can find a cruddy brush. Okay, well, I guess this one here, but see how that's all sticking out and whatnot. This would not be a good choice to float with. It's not in good shape. I mean, I have all kinds of different brushes, different sizes, different styles, but my shading brushes are for shading and highlighting, for floating. I don't use them to base coat. You don't want to use the same brush to base coat and whatever because you're ruining your brush. You're ruining that edge. Yeah, that calmed it down a little bit. You're ruining that edge. And then too, you know, I do it every now and again, but very rare. You know, you mess up and then you take your brush and you try and clean it up that way. You're just ruining your brush. You're not getting that chiseled edge. Something else I do too is when I'm done is I kind of go like this and flatten it out and let it kind of dry that way. So that's another thing I do. But you really have to have good brushes, and you gotta wash them out. Now I know I want these to be purple, and then the straps to be a purple, and the flower to be a pink. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use wisteria, which is a really, really light purple, but it's gonna give me that purple color that I'm after. But it'll just be, you know, pretty much on the light side. This actually is a little bit darker than what I wanted, but it just looks so much lighter in the bottle, and then when you pour it out and start using it, a lot darker. Kind of part of me feels like going over with a little bit of white. And I think I am a little bit. I'm gonna kind of maybe blend, see if I can blend my paint while I'm pouncing it on, just to get a little bit of lighter color. I don't know. I just wanted it a little bit lighter than that, but I didn't want it white. This is kind of giving like a marbly look, so it's adding a little bit of texture. I need to mix those. I actually need to sand this piece, so I'm gonna let it dry and sand it and come back and go over it. That's a little bit lighter. I'm gonna paint these flowers a poodle skirt pink. But that'll be a nice little combination. That still might be a little bit darker than what I wanted, but I think I'm going to add a little bit more white. I just wanted it like a really faint purple. Better. And then what I'm going to try and do after that dries is I'm going to try and dry brush the center of this flower with the bubblegum pink, just to make it a little bit darker around the center. And then I'm going to combine my banana cream and my white and make a very light center. And then, like I said, the straps are going to be purple, and I'll probably use this wisteria because it's definitely going to be darker. So let me see if I can get away with dry brushing. See if I can get that center the way I want it. There's not a whole lot of area to work with, but I might be able to do it. Just kind of going around in a circle. I don't care that I'm getting a whole lot of paint in that little dotted area because, like I said, I'm going to cover that up. But if I can just expand that circle out a little bit. So I'm kind of just starting there and then just kind of like expanding just a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm just trying to not make this color go much past where the score lines is on this flower. That's what I'm attempting to do. And that's going to create a little bit of gradient as well. So I'm just going to take some pink chiffon and just go on the tips of these petals of the flower just to add a little highlight. I actually am gonna get a pretty tiny brush to do that. I might have to go back over this. Okay. Honestly, they're not too bad. And this has been sitting on here for weeks. I don't even know if it'll come off. Not too bad considering how long it's been on there. I mean, my edges aren't too bad. But you always want to try and wipe them off. All right. Let's see if I can make a very light yellow. For that center. And I might go back and just put like a little, I mean, these circles are small, but just like a little swatch of darkness. Okay. And then before I go to the next section of this, the next element, definitely gonna have to empty out my water because it's pretty bad. And hopefully this will be enough of a difference, this purple. If not, then I will go with the purple petal. We'll see. It's not gonna be that much of a difference, it doesn't look like. It's gonna be a very minimal difference in shade. I mean, it's not that much of a difference. I wanted it a little bit darker than that. I'm just blending colors today. Boy, oh boy. It should end up being a little bit darker, not a whole lot. But hopefully enough to make the difference. Let's see if I can get just a little bit of shadow. Well, that's better. I mean, it sticks out a little bit better than what it was. And then I'm gonna shade, so that's gonna add a little darkness. Pressed a little too hard on that one. Don't be afraid to switch brushes for floating. If you start off with a certain brush and it's just not giving you what you want, don't be afraid to switch. like to do a lot of detailed work on my pieces. I just think you end up getting a nicer finished product. That's just my opinion. I mean, you could spend hours doing detailed work. And I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of trying to float, I'm just gonna try and dry brush underneath where these petals would be. Just to give it a little light shadow. And then I'm just gonna go back and highlight with a little bit of white. Just to put a little brightness. I mean, this is just extra stuff that I like to do. I put a lot of detail, like I said, into my work. A lot of people don't want to take the time and do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think the more detail you put, the better off your project looks when it's all said and done. And I spend a lot of time painting because I like all that extra stuff. I mean, there's a lot of great painters out there, and they've been painting a lot longer than me, but they do the extra detail stuff. And I just think their projects look a lot nicer when it's all said and done, their finished product. this is about done. And I guess we can start gluing it together. Not bad. What I should have done, and I didn't do it, and I'll have to adjust the file, is I should have did a score line because the flip-flops are overlapping, and I didn't do that. So I wonder if I can get away with shading. We will see. Could get interesting. Try that again. I'm just trying to be careful because this purple is dark, and that's exactly what I did not want to do. Does it have it be that dark? Yep, I did not want it that dark, and I do not have enough of this paint left to even make a difference. Maybe I'm okay with that line. Just trying to add a little white. All right. So let's kind of just start gluing this. I'm going to start by gluing the dots onto the flower. Just kind of do it in layers. Might not have enough glue on that particular one. We'll see. And when gluing the surfboard, you kind of want to make sure you get that hole lined up. These go on a certain way. So you want to make sure you get the right strap on the right flip-flop. All right. Now probably what I'll do is I'll probably put these longer pieces, which these seem to be the two longer pieces, in the center. I mean, this is just a little bit longer than these flip-flops, but those are the banner. Kind of wish it was a little bit brighter, but yeah, it is what it is. So with that being said, I'm going to empty my water, and then we're going to come back and start on the gnome. Hopefully you stay tuned. Okay, let's get started on this gnome. Part of me kind of wants to paint his beard and mustache. Not just a solid color, but using my rake brush. I'm really thinking about doing that. The only, thing is his mustache is going to be separate that you glue on top, so you can't get the swirls like you could if it was all one layer. So, I don't know. But I really I like that look better than a solid color, so. I don't know. And then we're gonna do a technique that I haven't done in a long time on his hat. But there's lots of pieces. I didn't see it in some of these. Not prepared. I know he's going to be exceptionally bright. And if I can get him a third of the way done, I'll be happy. But if not, it's no big deal. I will finish him up this weekend. But what he's going to have is a little duck inner tube, floating tube, however you want to call it, floating device. Because he's going swimming, or rather floating. But this is what it's going to look like, and I think it's going to be like really cute. Very beachy. So I think he'll be cute. Lots of layers to him, but he's going to be adorable. So I'm going to start off with his hat, working on his hat. I'm going to use a color called Camel, and it's retired, and I don't know what that's about. So I went to Decoworks website. My gosh, they have a lot of colors retired. Holy smokes. But what's really nice is they give you the mixing chart for this. So if you want to make this camel color, you have to use 2 parts golden straw, 1 part antique white, and a half a part marigold. So what I would do if it was me, and what I'm gonna do, there's 2 options you can do. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and have them mix this paint for you. And then, you know, you have it. Or what you can do is buy a big container and just use these bottles, a full bottle, as your parts to mix it. That's what I would do. So you have several options how you do it. But I don't know what makes them retire the colors that they do. But This I know a lot of people use, and a lot of people weren't too happy about it. So, and the only reason why I'm using this color is, you know, this is a straw hat. So it's got a little brown cast to it, but it's also got, you know, yellow to it. And that's kind of what I was after. Otherwise, I'd find something else. So... But just see how it kind of goes on like a yellowy brown. I just think it's the perfect color for a straw hat. And then something too, if you use their charts a lot for shading and highlighting, you want to save those charts and a lot, because when they retire a color, it comes off that shading chart pretty much. Okay, so save the charts, because then you won't have that shading and highlighting chart anymore for a particular color if it's retired. That's something I kind of like discovered on my own. So I have tons and tons of charts saved. So do yourself a favor and do that. I mean, I guess if they kept them all, it would be, the PDF maybe would be too large. I don't know, but... see, that's just a nice color. And I've seen their new colors for this year. I don't know, boy. I can't see myself buying any of them. It would be interesting to see how they come up with their color choices. As far as retiring, creating. Do they do a survey? What do they do? I would like to know how they make those choices. It would be interesting to know. And if I decide to paint that beard the way I'm thinking I want to do. I usually use slate gray, and I think I'm going to try a different color this time around. All right. Now the highlighting color for camel is buttermilk, and the shading color is cocoa. Let's see exactly where my band goes. Okay, I think I'm just going to do it at the top. Okay, what we're going to use is something called drywall tape. And I have the sticky kind. And they have different sizes as far as like the squares. But we're going to dry brush a little texture on here. So this is going to last me a lifetime. I'm just going to cut off a small piece. I'm not going to do the entire hat like this because I don't really, I think it'd be too busy. So I'm kind of going to just put it down, press it down in so it's kind of stuck. And I'm just going to find a stencil brush. You could probably do this with a sponge as well. I'm just going to get a stencil brush and put some paint on here and then rub it off. And then I'm just going to lightly tap here and there. I don't want it too bold. So that's kind of why I'm rubbing it off. It has to be a personal preference. And then something you can do is you can lift this up and kind of see where you're at and then put it back down. Probably should have put that up higher. That ain't too bad, but I'm not looking to do the whole hat because I think that would make it a little bit too busy. You just have to decide what you like for yourself. And put it on. This stuff is pretty sticky, so you can use it over and over again. So it's just kind of random what I'm doing. And I can always go back and put more on if I want. But I think this is pretty good for now. And I like to do that first, and here's the reason why. Because I am going to go and shade and highlight, but this is just texture, so I do want some shading and highlighting over top of it. Part of me kind of feels like, let me see, I need to do a little piece. Kind of right there. I wetted my brush, so hopefully cleaned it out. Hopefully I don't make a mess. All right, good enough. And you can get this tape at Lowe's, Home Depot, your local hardware. It's drywall tape. And I kind of recommend, like I said, I think there's some that's sticky and some that's not. I recommend the sticky one. All right. I'm going to do some highlighting with buttermilk. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on here. But see, that kind of just goes over that and mutes it a little bit, but also at the same time, it's adding the highlight. Also, too, you could, instead of, I use the cocoa to do mine, you could use lighter if you wanted. So, it has to be a personal preference. There's no right or wrong color that you choose. I mean, you might even be able to do 2 different colors. That's another option to mix it up. My brush is kind of actually too big. So I know I want to shade under here as well, where this hat band's going to be. I'm just trying to get a baseline, you know, a really light shade baseline. Because my cheater thing is water soluble. So when water hits it, it disappears 9 times out of 10. And I will go and shade around the glasses. I think I want a little bit more highlighting at the very tip of his hat. And on the sides. kind of wiping off what I'm doing. All right, good enough for now. This paintbrush holds a lot of water, and you have to set it down and really watch the water drain out. And even then, it's not all the way gone. It's amazing. Good brushes, though. But see, you can still see that texture through that highlighting. It's just muted. Kind of just feel I didn't get down low enough. And I don't know what's getting in my paint. Alright, I'm not fussing with it no more. Alright, I know. I'm thinking this Bahama blue would be a nice color next as the hat band. And I'm going to go with the bubblegum pink for my flower. It's going to be bright. And probably the sweet mint for the leaves. I don't know, I might even do some avocado instead. Maybe the Hauser light green. We will see. Why avocado? Not a good choice. The Hauser light green would be a good choice. Alright, let me get a little bit more cocoa and go around these sunglasses. I'll probably only go around once. I say that and I always end up going back. But my paint is running out along with my water. And something too to think about when you're floating, highlighting, or shading on a big area like this. If I keep going from this end and trying to go all the way over, this end is going to be darker. So when you go back to do a second coat, kind of start in the middle and then work your way around. And then come back to the start and then kind of meet where you started. And the reason why I'm saying that is that way, you know, you end up getting like an even shading or highlighting. But if you always start to highlight and shade on one side, you know, at the same spot, that area is always going to just be darker. I just want these tips a little bit brighter. That's good enough. All right. Let's get some Bahama blue on this. And then I'll see what color green kind of looks okay. This is going to be very tropical. I'm not sure what the shading color is on this, or the highlighting color. I'll have to look at my chart. Hi, Christine. I think you already left. I just looked up and happened to see you were on. Sorry I missed you. Hope you're doing okay. Thank you for coming in and watching. I get very involved in painting. I don't know if I said this earlier. If you didn't want to get this drywall tape and do that technique, if you have a rake brush, something you could do is, you know, use your rake brush. Just, you know, water down your paint and just, you know, touch it on lightly. And, I mean, that's another option you can do. I just happen to have this tape. If I wouldn't have, I probably would have done that instead. I would have used my rake brush just like I did on those goggles. You know, for the snorkeling. Wow, bleach sand is the highlighting color. Interesting. Bleach sand. Okay, and desert turquoise. Bleach sand. Interesting, the color choices. Interesting. But that's just gonna pop off of there. I mean, that just goes. That just screams summer tropical beach. I like it. So now to find a green. Well, let's go for it. I'm going to use the Hauser light green. I probably should have shaded first. I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, we know this green always takes a lot of coats, so... That wind is picking up. We're supposed to have 30-mile-an-hour winds today. Down in the single digits this week. I probably should paint right around in here. Something tells me that you're gonna see that with that flower. Okay. I know this desert turquoise is pretty bright. I'm gonna go around where the flower is, and then I'm gonna go around the bottom. And I think though, let me do this side. I'm just not seeing the bleach sand, I'm really not. But I'll try, and if I don't like it, then it will go away. I'm just gonna put that on there lightly. I don't think it, I don't know. I should have waited to do those leaves. It's gonna be a bad floating day. I don't know. Maybe dry brush. I wonder if I can get away with a little dry brushing. I wasn't saying that bleach sand is a good highlighting color, but after I've sat here and looked at it for a while, it's actually a good choice. I didn't think that at first, but it is a good choice. I'm telling you, their recommendations is spot on. It really is. I have to follow, I say I follow their chart probably 95% of the time. 95%. All right. I really want to rub this paint out because I don't want it too much. That's good enough. Now the highlighting color for this Hauser light green is a color called citron green. It's bright. And I think I normally use olive green instead. I mean, it's a little calmer, just a little, not much, a little. But yeah, I'm just gonna highlight the tips. And then I need to like highlight like these humps, I think, is probably the better choice. So while that's really, really drying, I'm gonna go ahead and paint this flower, and I'm gonna paint it the bubblegum pink, which I know is a really bright pink. And I'm basically going to do the same thing that I did with the flower on the flip-flops. I'm going to dry brush in the middle and then just go around the outside edge with some highlighting. But this center I'll make just the banana cream. I won't mix any white with it. I want it bright. Bright, bright, bright. All right. Let's see what I can get away with here. My water is not good. Oof. That one really faded. Wow. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's neither here or there. Okay. Okay. I know the shading color for this is Royal Fuchsia. And you better really brush it out. Because I'd rather just try and build this. kind of gun shy in this color. And I'm going to use the chiffon pink. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do the poodle skirt pink first, and then if I need to lighten it up, I'll do the chiffon pink. I could actually even use like a very light purple. Just to introduce another color. I just threw a little bit of bleach sand on as a highlight for that center. Now I'm not going to glue this yet, but part of me feels like that I need to put a little shading. All right. But I am not going to float it. I'm going to just try and dry brush it. Let's see. Just using a pretty cruddy stencil brush. Could be a little bit darker. Alright, let's kind of see where we're at. Then I need to empty my water. So that's kind of where we're at. Pretty tropical. I might even take my antique gold and do the bottom of that little circle, because it needs a little something. Needs a little darkness at the bottom. And part of me kind of feels like the petals need a little bit more lightness on the tips. When I lived in Florida, we had a plumeria plant. We had a couple of them. I ended up giving them away because they would never survive in Ohio, that's for sure. But that's the flower that leis are made out of. And oh my gosh, the fragrance was just something else. And what was interesting is to grow this plant, it's probably about this long and about this big around. It's just like a stick. And you scrape off the bottom and you stick it in some dirt and you just water it and let it go, and it was crazy. Crazy, crazy. Absolutely loved it. And my friend was very happy when I gave that to them, and they still have it. I didn't plant it in the ground. I just planted it in a pot. And, yeah. So, that's where we are so far. So I need to empty my water, and I need to decide what I'm gonna do here as far as colors. He's got some shorts, he's got some flip-flops. You know, these are his legs, so that's gonna be flesh. Maybe I'll come back and paint the flesh. And then I need to figure out, you know, what color do I want to make his sunglasses? You know? Part of me kind of thinks about making his shorts this color. But then what am I going to paint his sunglasses? I haven't decided yet. I know, I think I'm going to go with a lighter color this time, but I'm not exactly for sure. So let me go ahead and take a break here, empty my water, and I'll come back and we'll do just a little bit more painting. I don't know how long I've even been on here so far today. Going on 3 hours. Oof. Wow, time flies. All right, I will be back shortly. Hopefully you stick around. So I think what I'll do is I'm gonna paint the flesh parts. Now something I was thinking about as well is if you don't like the fact that this is a fence insert, something you can do is if you like the design, you could still purchase the file, and if you have a laser cutter, make stands. And make it a, excuse me, you could make it a shelf sitter. I don't know how much flesh color is actually left in this bottle. It's pretty well shot. I mean, any of these, you know, if you were to buy the file, you can turn any of it into shelf sitters. And that might be something I do as well, as turn some of these elements into shelf sitters. Because this gnome is going to be really cute. And if you're into summertime and you're into gnomes and the beach and so forth, you might want this. You know, technically I could be using a sponge. Wasn't really thinking. And you want to be careful around the soles. But the straps glue on. And it's starting to snow very lightly. I actually got here a lot earlier than what they were predicting earlier today. Snow, freezing rain, high winds, yada, yada, yada. Also, too, if you haven't heard me say in the previous lives that I've done recently, I'm currently running a sale in my shop for the month of February. All SVG files, listings, files, whatever, are on sale. Just the SVGs only. It's 15% off. There's no minimum you have to buy as far as a dollar amount or patterns. You'll just add whatever it is that you're interested in into your cart, and Etsy will discount it for you. But that's only through the month of February. Then I think moving forward, I'll probably only run sales once every couple of months. And it will be where you have to purchase a minimum to receive a discount. So if you like the SVG files, now's the time to get them. Because I won't be running a sale again for a while. This paint is just drying too quick today, and when that happens, you get goobers in your paint on your surface, and it just looks terrible. Just looks terrible. There's no amount of water that can fix that. Whoa. Hello. All right, let's do a little highlighting. So I know I want to highlight around the bottom. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to highlight all the way around probably, and then shade on each side of where these straps would go for the flip-flop sandals. I know I want more highlighting at the bottom than I do the top. And I want to highlight, I'm going to highlight at the bottom of these hands. I think I want that highlighting on the feet just a little bit brighter. I'm kind of just walking the float down in the middle, of the top of the foot, just to make it a little bit wider in the middle. Where you going, Kaylee? Where you gonna go? Okay. I know I want to mix some burnt sienna and this flesh color to shade. And with that drying the way it is, I don't know. It's not good. Hopefully I can get away with it because it's pretty spent. Oh, a lot of water. More water than paint. the floating on here. So I'm going to cover that up and start again. It just looks pretty. Too much water, not enough paint. And this paint is just drying something terrible. Burned me one side a little bit further over. All right. I think this is probably a wrap for today. And I'll put some, I like to use that coral, Terra Coral, where they retired that color too. That's what I like to use for like cheeks and so forth. So that's about all I use it for. Oh, I didn't paint his legs. Crud. Wasn't even thinking about that. So, yeah. Didn't even think about it. All right. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll just finish that up on the weekend. So, I just don't know how I'm feeling about the green on this. I don't like it, but that's neither here or there. But this is kind of where we're at. His legs definitely need more, but but he's gonna be cute. He's gonna be. Granted, I'm not gonna layer all the pieces, but he's gonna be stinking adorable. Just really, he's gonna be adorable. I'm loving him so far. Loving him, loving him. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get off here. Got some things to do, and want to work on finishing up that one design, and I will be on probably the weekend. Who knows? I might come on later on after work one day this week, but as of right now, it's probably going to be just the weekend. So, to the people that come in and watched, and Christina, thank you for stopping in. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. If you're going to watch this after the fact and you want to type in hashtag replay to let me know you watched and you were here, great. If not, it's no big deal. So until then, hopefully I see you over the weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.